talk about a subject that I care a lot about but don't talk that much about, which I should, because you should share the things that you're passionate about. So today's video is about poetry. Like most people, I found out about poetry in school. I really from the start did enjoy it. I was a very shy kid and public speaking was and still isn't my forte, but reading poetry or reciting it always felt easy and thrilling and enjoyable. So I guess I had predispositions for poetry, and not everyone is like that, but I'm here to tell you that you can enjoy it too, even if you hated it at school. So what first attracted me in poetry, I guess, it's rhythm. Rhythm has carried poetry throughout human history. We used rhythm to transmit myths and oral histories long before writing was even a thing. So I feel like in this rhythm you have all of humanity, all of its history, all of its common way to say things that I think is really amazing. That really shows poetry has for a very, very long time been humanity's thing. You might think of poetry in a very traditional school, it's verse, meter and rhyme way, and I'm not here to discuss what poetry is or isn't in the canon. I'm no expert, I'm just here to share my feelings, but I think there's a lot more than that to poetry. I think you can think of it as a feeling, and you can find it in many mediums. You have your poems, you have your songs, you have prose and even non-fiction, anything you can read and watch and listen, and it's the bridge between images and words and spirit. And it's no coincidence that religion has been so linked to the poetic world, because there's something magical about it. I think it's something that makes you feel whole and that connects you to the rest of humanity, and that can be found in any small moment that makes you think, yes, this is the word for this feeling, or yes, this is the image for this word, that makes you understand the beauty that you find around you. But how do you go about appreciating, understanding, or just finding poetry? Because it can seem like something really hard to get into, like a giant mountain of canon and poets and movements and tradition. So it can seem like something that's really hard to get into, but I'm here to give you some advice on how to get poetry to you. I think the first thing is you have to forget what you know. If you hated poetry in school, then it's just that there weren't the right poems for you, or the right people teaching them to you, or you weren't in the right mindset for it at the time. So you have to let go of what you know and be open to the idea that there is something poetic out there for you that you will enjoy. As I said, poetry takes many forms. It's not just fancy words and rhymes and strict meter, thank God, and some of it is more visuals. If reading is the problem for you, you can try reading it out loud or seek out spoken word. There's a lot of it on YouTube, and it doesn't have to be labeled that. Just people who speak beautifully are everywhere. Maybe you start thinking of your favorite song lyrics as a poem, and the many ways that they change over the time and what they mean to you. And for more specific ways to get poetry to come to you, because I think the hardest thing to get into poetry is seeking it out, not knowing what to look for really. So you can follow people on the internet. We have these great social media platforms. There's a lot of cool poets on Tumblr, also on Twitter, or once again just people even if they don't think of themselves as poets who just write and speak beautifully. There's newsletter and zines that you can find on the internet or in the real world. I have a subscription to one of these mailing lists that send a poem every day, and I absolutely don't read all of them, but I know that every day something is reminding me that I could be reading a poem, and that way I find always new people, and that helps you build sort of a list of people you like, or to find what characteristics will just click for you. Once you start knowing what you like, you can seek out collections on a theme or by an author from a movement. The more you learn, the more you will know what you like and know how to seek out things that will make you feel good and that you will enjoy in this amazing, huge poetry landscape that we have now. Yeah, I hope I haven't been too rambly and too whimsical about it all. Sometime soon I will talk more in depth about what I like, and I hope these tips help you get poetry into your life.